This morning, as every year, on Easter Day, we hear St. John's account of the resurrection appearance to Mary Magdalene and the empty tomb. From the 20th chapter of St. John's Good News, beginning with verse 1. Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the tomb. So she ran and went to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one whom Jesus loved, and said to them, "They've taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we do not know where they've laid him." Then Peter and the other disciple set out and went toward the tomb. The two were running together, but the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first. He bent down to look in and saw the linen wrappings lying there, but he did not go in. Then Simon Peter came following him and went into the tomb. He saw the linen wrappings lying there, and the cloth that had been on Jesus' head, not lying with the linen wrappings, but rolled up in a place by itself. Then the other disciple, who reached the tomb first, also went in. He saw and believed, for as yet they did not understand the scripture that he must rise from the dead. Then the disciples returned to their homes. But Mary stood weeping outside the tomb. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb, and she saw two angels in white sitting where the body of Jesus had been lying, one at the head and the other at the feet. They said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." When she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, "Sir, if you've carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said to her, "Do not hold on to me, because I'm not yet ascended to the Father, but go to my brothers and say to them, I'm ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went and announced to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord." She told them that he had said these things to her. Sisters and brothers, this is the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Thanks be to God.
Please be seated. Will you please join me for a few moments of silent prayer? In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. You like Easter egg hunts? I love Easter eggs. We're going to have one just right after this service out here in the courtyard. But I love Easter egg hunts. Kids, the eggs, the scramble. It is so much fun. I remember one Easter egg hunt long, long time ago. Christopher, our son, was 9 or 10. Elizabeth was 3 or 4. We were living in Beeville, but I can't remember beyond that anything else of the location, the time, the circumstance. There weren't a whole lot of other kids for the Easter egg hunt, maybe 6, 8. Well, the egg hunt started and the scramble began. Christopher was one of the oldest kids, so he managed to find a lot of eggs. Elizabeth, I'm pretty sure that she was the youngest. She only found 2. There she was, holding an egg in each hand, watching all the other kids counting their eggs. And you could see her little bottom lip start to tremble, and her eyes started to get moist. And she was a big girl, so she wasn't going to cry. No, 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 but look at all the eggs everybody else has. And then I watched Christopher realize what was going on. Without anybody suggesting it or asking him to share And they found her bucket, which she had left behind after the first egg. They counted out of his basket half of his eggs into hers. Folks, let's be clear. Easter is not about the return of new life to the natural world. The greening of spring, the cycle of the seasons, all of that is nice. I love the springtime too. But in Australia and South Africa and everywhere in the southern hemisphere, it's fall, not spring. And it is no less Easter in those places than it is for us. No. Easter is not a metaphor for the circle of life. And Easter isn't some parable for the notion that in death we slip the surly bonds of the brutal, bestial matter in which we are trapped and soar to spiritual heights, becoming truly ourselves. No. Absolutely not. Easter is not about finding ourselves or recognizing the divine spark within. Easter is about resurrection. Easter is about being found by the living Christ. Easter is about God's promise to share with us, you and me, and all who follow Jesus, the resurrection life of our Lord. You know, people in the first century knew every bit as well as we in the 21st century the reality of death, maybe even better. Dead people are dead. They don't come back to life. When you really listen to St. John's story of that first resurrection day, it's clear. It's clear Mary Magdalene, Simon Peter, the beloved disciple, none of them had any idea at all of the possibility that Jesus might rise from the dead. Dead is dead. Except it's not. Except it's not. Jesus is alive. Not in some ghosty, non-material, other-dimensional sort of way. The Lord has a body. Different from his material body, the one crucified, though it still bears the wounds of the cross. But it's his resurrection body. He steps through locked doors. He appears in more than one place at the same time. And I'm looking so forward to being able to do that. His closest friends don't recognize him until he speaks. Jesus is alive in a resurrection body. And his resurrection, this shocking response to the great mystery of his obedience to the Father's will, the self-offering of the Son of God, the death of the incarnate Word. This proves that the stranglehold of sin is broken, that creation's slavery to death is ended, that Satan's chains of evil are shattered. Oh, that unholy Trinity still troubles the cosmos. We continue to battle the enemies of our victorious Lord, most of all in the occupied territory of our own hearts. But the final outcome is not in doubt. God will make all things new. All things, including his precious children. Jesus is alive. Go tell my brothers, he commands the Magdalene, his first apostle. Go tell my brothers that I go to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God. Oh, how quickly we move across those words and don't recognize what he's saying. You see, Jesus' resurrection is not just for him. He shares it gladly and generously with all his friends. Resurrection life for all of us. All of us. So many times, like my little girl so many years ago, we find ourselves holding on to our faith and our hope, watching the rest of the world enjoy all their goodies. And sometimes our hearts start to break. Our lips quiver, our eyes get wet, wondering why we don't get some of that. Then we hear Jesus' words, the risen, living Jesus' words. My Father and your Father, my God, your God. He comes to us, not just our brother, but our Lord, our God, comes to us and shares with us all he has received from the Father. He counts it out, bit by bit by bit. He shares with us. Jesus is alive. That is the reality of the resurrection. And now, brothers and sisters, I give you the gift of silence. Time to listen again to the Spirit of God moving within your soul, telling you what God has done for you. Hear again the words of the Lord. My Father and your Father, my God